Some of the biggest changes in British life over the past 100 years have been in the way we work. The 9-to-5 working day and the job for life are increasingly a thing of the past. Many of our traditional industries are now gone, while information technology has revolutionised the way that we work. So what can we expect in the next millennium? In the second of her reports on life in the 21st century, our special reporter Rachel Ellison takes a look at the workplace of the future.
Just put your ticket in the machine.
Joe Barron's expert at dealing with flustered foreigners at Waterloo Station. Aged 54, he's one of the older members of the Eurostar workforce. But Joe, who was a bus driver for 27 years, has no intention of retiring when he's 65.
As I said to my wife a few days ago, I'll either walk out of here or be carried out in a box, feet first. The reason for this is, one, financial. Obviously, by working, you're earning more money, and it helps the old pension. And secondly is, I've had so many friends retiring, and they seem to have given up on life. You know, they wasted away.
Joe Barron may be leading a trend. According to the Family Policy Studies Centre, an ageing population coupled with better health and fitness could mean come the new millennium, lots of people will refuse to retire. In the latter half of this century, we've seen a trend towards having a younger workforce, with huge numbers of people taking early retirement. But in the next 50 years, we may well see people refusing to give up work, partly for financial reasons, but also because they want to stay physically and mentally active. Working patterns of the future will see more people working from home doing a portfolio of different part-time jobs. And according to research by Mintel, John Hamilton's one of a growing number of fathers opting for full-time parenting instead. The future will see more female breadwinners, with increasing numbers of women no longer prepared to give up their successful careers to raise a family. 3-year-old Rosa spends most days with her father whilst her mother goes out to work.
When Rosa was born, it seemed much more sense that Kate stay with her job after the maternity leave, and that I look after the childcare side of things. She has a career structure, it's a good job, and I'm very happy to be at home.
The couple's expecting a second child in March. After her maternity leave, Kate Pearce will return to work.
My career is important to me, and I enjoy my job very much. I think it's possible to have both, a job which is fulfilling and important, and to be a very committed and serious mother.
With more men than ever doing part-time jobs and women increasingly earning more than their partners, this family may find that in the future it's the norm rather than the exception, as decisions about who works and for how long become increasingly flexible. Rachel Ellison, BBC News.
Professor John Hunt of the London Business School has conducted studies into the workplace, and he's with me now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We saw there men staying at home more with their children, but what do you think the most substantial changes in the 21st century in work are going to be?
I think there are 3 areas where there are going to be changes. Firstly, people are going to get control over their work lives in a way that they've never had before. They'll be able to negotiate, they'll be able to make their own arrangements. Secondly, as the film said, technology is going to have a very big impact. It's amazing how long, in fact, the office routine has persisted. But certainly with new technology, that'll be able to be shifted. And thirdly, it's going to be variety, in the sense that people are not just going to do one thing for 30 or 40 years. Some people talk about portfolios, as was mentioned. I think portfolios may be overstating the case. I think there'll be variations. So an accountant may become a corporate finance person, may become an investment advisor, rather than major changes.
So certainly not a job for life?
Certainly not a job for life, no. But there's going to be a change in the whole attitude about work. I mean, we've got to start talking about living, not work. I mean, some people work all week and charge down to the coast and then work all weekend on their boat, and they call that leisure.
Well, you seem to say, which is an interesting point, that they're going to have more control over it. Some people might argue about that. But one thing that is true is that people are living much longer, and they don't want to be retired very early and then have 40 years of not work. Is that going to change, do you think?
I think that is going to change. In fact, it's changing already. Retirement is a totally artificial concept. Someone who spent 30, 40 years developing expertise comes to 65 and we say, out. Most unrealistic. I think people will stay longer. The pressure will come from the people who are younger to get my age group to shove off.
Well, I'm sorry to say that's all I can ask you. I'm not asking you to shove off. Thank you very much, Professor Hunt.